Hey, everybody. Welcome to the PoddiMouths podcast, the second of our second season.
Wait, that means our fourth season if you multiply.
How do you multiply? That's really bad math right there. And I am not a math genius. That's really bad math.
Neither am I. How are you at algebra? Just
horrible.
talking off the cuff. Me too.
The only math I'm really good at, I think, is percentages. And that's probably because I eat out a lot and I have to figure out the percentage that I'm going to tip the server.
That's funny. I am only good. Well, it's just I multiply by 2 and add some, 20%, and then add some because I'm usually like 25, sometimes 30 if she's attractive.
Oh, Jesus.
Well,
you did give me, and I think you told me once that it wasn't from you. You didn't make it up, but you did give me one of my favorite lines that I use all the time when I'm trying to break the ice with dealers.
Okay. And what is
95% of all statistics are made up on the spot.
Yes. I don't know if I I'm sure I invented it at some point too, but I'm sure I stole it.
I'm sure you did, but it's funny as hell. And it works. It breaks the ice because I'll just inject it. Like I'll be in a stream of consciousness when I'm talking and just randomly put it in there, which everyone knows, having listened to this podcast now for over a year, and over a year by like a week, that I don't have a good stream of consciousness. So the fact that I can inject that in there and get a laugh, it's a big win for me. Well, I could just pack up and leave at that point.
I think you should. I think that's like that's a split deal in a car dealership. In other words, you should pay me half of whatever that dealer is paying you.
Well, half of nothing is still nothing.
But that would make my paycheck look similar to what it does now.
Very true. Very true.
Okay.
But before we jump too far into the episode,
let's talk affiliates. Can we?
Let's talk about what we can. I'd love to.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this.
Yeah.
And this is leading into that conversation. John, okay. I wear glasses and you wear glasses as well, but you have contacts, right?
Yes.
Once in a while, I will put in my contacts. It's very rare now because I'm just lazy. But when I'm not feeling lazy, like if I go hiking, my glasses, I do have, what is that called? When they dim, transitions. Yes. I have transitions, but they're not good and they're not great as sunglasses, especially when I'm out in nature, not working or just hiking. Yeah.
Can I just tell you, I misunderstood the first time you told me that. I thought you said you were transitioning.
No. I know I often confuse people with that statement, but I'm working on it. I'm trying to get. I should write my own copy, but I forgot to write copy for this, so obviously we're just winging it.
I know that surprises everyone. I'm sure
it shouldn't surprise one person on this earth.
No, I think they all thought that we were reading teleprompters throughout this entire thing.
I've got enough screens in front of me. I should be reading a teleprompter, but no. But let's get back to that. So I have been looking for sunglasses that are good quality, that look good, that are inexpensive, because I don't wear them very often. I don't want to get prescription sunglasses. I just want some that I can wear once in a while when I wear contacts. So I have found the company Knockaround. And Knockaround is a sunglass company online that you can order sunglasses for as little as $10. And they're really high quality. It's knockaround.com.
Yeah, and I'm looking at them right now, and you're right there. I mean, it's a cool site, and that's usually a pretty good indicator of good quality in at least their products, or they're trying to, keep a certain level. So
yeah. So I would recommend to anybody that listens to us to at least go and check it out. And if you follow the link that you see in our show notes, you can get 20% off your first order, and it helps support the show. And if you like practical sunglasses that are less than $10 and you have a lot of other uses for them and you want to order a whole bunch, you get free shipping on orders over $50 and free returns if you don't love them.
Okay. Can we talk about this for a minute? Because sunglasses are, I mean, I love sunglasses, and you and I both travel a lot, and if we're driving or whatever, You got to have them. And I have like various shades if it's really sunny versus if it's, just a little cloudy or whatever. Have you ever sat on a pair of sunglasses?
Yes, they're pokey.
But never. Oh, I think we're talking about two different things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sunglasses was the name of my cat. Anyway, the way I look at it is the only sunglasses I sit on are the expensive ones.
Oh, of course. I think that's in the design. They designed them so well, and that's why they're so expensive, because they're designed to fall in the cracks where you're going to sit and break them.
Like in the ass cracks? Is that what you're talking about?
That too, absolutely.
Okay.
Crack of your car, crack of your ass, whatever.
I have, and the other part is, and look, and I'm not just saying this because this is stuff that we face, and I do in particular because I travel so much, and I usually throw my sunglasses in my backpack or whatever, but often I will scratch them. And there's nothing that drives me crazier than scratches on my sunglass lenses. You?
Oh, absolutely. Nope, same thing. Yep.
Yeah.
My daughter is the culprit there. I've had some other sunglasses, most of which I've gotten for free, I'll be honest. And I'll let her play with them, or she'll want to wear them, and then they come back and they have fingerprints on them and they're scratched, and that's the really cool thing about the sunglasses I got from Knockaround. They came with a bag that you can put them in, but it also doubles as a lens cleaner. As one of those cloths.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
So it's the what do they call it? The what's the fiber? Microfiber. Thank you. And you're right. You need that, because I used to clean my glasses with, like Kleenex or something like that,
which is
and
really bad.
It's terrible. It scratches the heck out of the lenses. Anyway, so I am on their site, but I'm going to go first to PoddiMouths.com, and I'm going to click on our link, and then go back and then order some sunglasses, because I need more. I mean, I always need, I should have 5 or 10 pair. I really should, because, of how I damaged the other ones. But I'm going to just get several of them. So
sounds good to me.
Good. Well,
and see, John's supporting the show.
You can get, well, I have to, because it's making us incredibly wealthy. But you can get, and I see some of the prices, they're not all $10, but they start off, at 10 and go to maybe 20, 25. I don't know, but you can get 4 or 5 pair, and for $100, and you're dancing. I mean, that's
absolutely.
I'm a sunglass guy, and I, mainly because as I get older, I don't want people to see my eyes.
I could go so many places with that.
Do it,
but I'm not.
Okay,
folks. Knockaround, great sunglasses. You'll find the link in our show notes. All right, back to the show, John.
I think they're going to hire us, because that was almost like a professional commercial sort of a thing.
I think they're just going to be affiliates. Maybe.
You don't think they'll hire us?
I don't think so. I mean, have you looked at us? There's a reason we do a podcast.
I don't mean they'll hire us because we're pretty.
Oh, well, I thought that's why most companies hire people.
You're thinking of porn magazines or something.
I try to, as much as I possibly can. Absolutely.
Anyway,
now, right after we talk about Knockaround ad, there are Knockaround ad.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, what were we talking about? We were talking about math before, and how good we are at math. So I was listening to a podcast earlier today, and I sent you a link, and you listened to part of it, and it pissed you off. And I thought it was phenomenal. I actually went and I bought the gentleman's book.
Well,
so I want to. There are reasons, not necessarily for everything he said in the podcast. And I will be honest. I subscribe to that podcast. I don't agree with everything that it's Kara Swisher's, one of Kara Swisher's podcasts. I don't agree with everything Kara Swisher says, but I do find some of her interviews very interesting. She interviews some phenomenally intelligent people, and they have an interesting take on a lot of things. And I thought his take on education in the United States was pretty good, but you don't necessarily agree.
Well,
or you do agree, but you didn't agree with some of the things he said.
Yes, I think the latter would be accurate. And so I don't. I think that education needs some revamping, especially in the U.S. And I mean, that's all. I don't really care about the education system in the Congo, and no offense to them, but I'm mostly concerned with what goes on here. And there, I think about some of the stuff that's been introduced because it sounds like a good idea. Common Core would be the first thing that comes to mind, and I'm not a fan.
No,
And
and I don't think he was either.
I agree.
He was talking, and when I say he, ladies and gentlemen, we were talking about Kara Swisher's Recode Decode interview with David Epstein, who many of you probably remember from Sports Illustrated. He was their science columnist. I don't remember who he works for now, but he's a scientist and writer for a lot of news magazines, and he has another book out that is, I don't even remember what it's called. What did I say? I told you the book, didn't I?
Yeah, you probably did.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'll find it later, but I just bought it. I think it'll be very, very interesting. But anyway, go ahead with your thought. I just
No,
wanted to clear
I
that up
think it
for
was
people.
I think it was called Assholes Can Have Podcasts. Anyway,
That could be. No,
that
no, no. That's what we're renaming PoddiMouths
oh,
for, too. I
sorry.
mean,
Oh, that's it. Okay.
yeah,
I
yeah.
no, I look, he's a brilliant guy, and it was very interesting listening to him, and I had a limited amount of time and unfortunately attention as I was listening, but one of the things he talked about was I think it was a chemistry class that he attended, and one of the things they had them do was just out of the blue do an estimate of how many piano tuners are in New York. And he said, "Well, I mean, I don't know what, like 10,000." And then he said, as we thought it through conceptually, we thought, okay, well, how many pianos are there, and how many houses are there? And the point is that you could get a much more accurate estimation if you actually broke it down a little bit. So that was kind of a learning point for him. And I won't disagree with the thinking, but what he said was that you can use that technique to call BS on news statistics. And so essentially what you're doing, and my contention is he's using a BS method of estimation to to say that another BS method of estimation is BS. And that's really where I fall out from it. It's if it's not a perfect science, you can't science is not, and for any scientists listening, and I'm sure we have a bunch of them, science is not guesswork. Science is not consensus. So anytime I hear someone quoting a consensus of scientists, I call bullshit because that's not science. That
So
is
here, I'm going
agreement.
to have to, and this is one of the reasons you wanted to talk about it today.
Yeah, because we
And
avoid
it's,
this usually.
well, we do, and I'm going to have to disagree with you because
Lay it on me.
science is just that. It's you make a good point. We depend on science to be accurate. We depend on science to be truthful and to have concrete evidence that something exists. And in many cases it does. But science as a whole is a guessing game. People are creating theories, they're testing those theories, and they're figuring out if those theories are true or not true.
So
So much of
theory.
science is
Yep.
theorizing
Yep.
on
Totally agree.
items.
Totally
So
agree.
going back to Mr. Epstein's
Yep.
uh, point there, it wasn't a point that was a question on his exam that he had to find the right answer to. The reason it existed on that exam was because it wasn't chemistry, obviously, because they were talking about pianos and it was a chemistry test, but it was another scientist's idea to add these sort of questions to tests to kind of shake up the status quo, to get those students thinking in a different way, to help kind of bring creativity to science. And creative thinking and bringing different ideas is what creates theories. It's what develops that science to become more accurate as we go on. Because we know no matter how science has certain facts in place that we depend on, that we think are quote unquote fact, they get debunked 10 years later. And that it's a new fact. And then that fact gets debunked 10 years later. So the example I use is food science, or I want to use is food science. 20 years ago, they said eggs are horrible for you. And then 10 years ago, they said eggs are fantastic for you. Then 5 years later, only part of the egg is bad for you. And then it goes on and on and on and on. So you could debunk pretty much anything in science if you had a theory and you tested against that theory. And that's where that practice comes in, and how he wants to debunk the news statistics. I've said this before. I say this in store all the time. It was something I learned when I was in college. You can have a given number or a statistic, and just by the way you move that statistic on a graph, you can tell a completely different story. And I think science is the same way. And I think that was more or less his point when it came to that specific subject.
And that's fine. So the issue is not science in itself, because you're right. Science has to do with theories. What troubles me is when theories become facts because several scientists agree. There is no consensus in science when it comes to empirical facts. So either it's a fact or it's not a fact. So gravity, you can make an argument for gravity.
Which he did. I don't know if you got that far.
I did not. Okay. I did not.
Yep.
Because
he said that exact same thing.
Okay, and that's good. So gravity is a scientific fact, and you can measure it, and you can define it, and you can prove it. And
but scientists still don't understand it. That's the key point there.
I'm not.
You can prove gravity exists because it does.
Sure.
You have the science, I guess, behind it, but no one actually knows concretely how gravity works.
So it depends how deeply into this you want to get. First of all, you and I have been friends long enough that we can have this conversation and continue it ad nauseum. But
because I'm right and you're fucking wrong. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Are you really? Yeah, no, I never would have guessed that.
I'm very kidding. Yes, I'm
so
very
you
kidding.
Can tell when Nick and I aren't.
I can even talk good.
You can tell when Nick and I aren't in the same room, because I'd be kicking his ass if we were right now.
No, you'd be kicking my shins because we'd be facing each other.
Yes, that's true. But I'm not gonna. I don't want us to go down this road today, because this is really, we don't often scratch this surface, but it's kind of fun too, because it really is who we are, and it kind of defines where we go. But I want you to think, and let's visit this next podcast. I want to talk about climate change.
Okay.
And how that empirical evidence it differs from what people often call consensus among scientists. That does not define fact. And so I'd like to explore that a little bit, and I think that might be interesting.
That would be very interesting, and I think we're going to get a lot of feedback on that one.
I hope so, and I think that's the purpose. This is not, the thing that I think we're missing a lot today, not you and I, but in general, is the ability to have these conversations. And
agreed.
I'm confident enough in us, in our friendship, that we can have differing opinions, and it's okay. It's healthy, and it's fun to talk about how things vary and allow us to have different perspectives, perhaps, because what a friend of mine might feel about something, or maybe not. Maybe it's, hey, we just agree to disagree. But I think that conversation is really, as much as it's talked about, is really missing in today's society.
I agree with you 100% on that. And I'm going to use our favorite line right now. I know we've talked about this before. You like that? I love that. I love that line because we talk about so much, but I agree with you 100%. The only way to really have consensus, as we were just talking about, is to have discussion. And if someone is so stubborn as to believe that they are 100% right and will close off their mind to learning what other people's opinions are, will stop them from learning more and changing their idea. It's everyone's, I said that poorly. I really did, but I think everyone gets my point. We want to make sure that we listen to other people because they might have information that we've never thought of or know of that could change our minds and point us in a different direction. And that was another thing that Epstein was talking about with his new book. The new book is revolves around not having a specific path necessarily, being more of a generalist when it comes to your career, when it comes to work, when it comes to your life.
Yep.
The same thing goes for opinions. You need to be open to learning new things. You need to have different experiences which are going to change your opinions on things. And you have to be open to the fact that when you're 20 years old, you're going to have different thoughts than when you're 30. You're going to have different thoughts when you're 40 and 50 and 60
Isn't that
because
the
of those
truth?
life experiences. Yep.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. And I think about when I was 20 or when I was 18 or 19, I was totally different in what I
Oh, me
thought or
too.
what I believed. And yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Hindsight's 2020, and what I would give to be able to go back to be 20 years old and have the same thoughts and beliefs that I have now. I would
Yeah,
be much more successful.
and that's the yeah, maybe, but that's the interesting part about aging too, because at the older you get, it's not like you don't remember how things used to be.
Right.
It's just that you have chosen to choose different paths, perhaps based on your experiences, and what you've learned.
I agree. Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway,
So that
we'll
should be a
revisit
fun
stuff like that.
conversation.
Well, let's do it, and I think that would be
Okay.
cool. And
I'd be interested because that's
yeah.
something you and I haven't really talked about. So I have no idea how you feel about it. You probably have no idea how I feel about it. And, it'll be eye opening because I have some interesting stories about friends of mine and this exact conversation and people's opinions about what they think I think, which will be interesting. So I'm looking forward to it. You
Okay.
got me excited.
Wow, will
In
you
a
please not spread that
not
around?
in a sexual way.
Don't tell Jennifer that. She's gonna be so jealous.
I tell Jennifer everything.
Do you
And
really?
then she listens to the podcast, so
To find out the truth.
exactly, yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. No, actually, I do tell Jennifer everything.
Well,
She's
that's
my
awesome.
best friend, not to be overtly mushy, but yes, she's my best friend, so there isn't a thing on earth I wouldn't tell her.
That is awesome. And to be able to say that is very cool. And that's maturity in a relationship because 25, 30 years ago, that was not me. That was get away with whatever you can get away with. And well, yeah, and Lisa will tell you. And of course, now we know quite
Yeah,
well. So, yeah,
yeah.
anyway, for sure. Cool. Okay, that will be fun. What else are we going to? Oh, we're done now, aren't we?
Are we?
No, we aren't. Okay, so
Oh,
I got to ask you this, and this is
yeah.
fun to do while we're recording. I'm on our website and I'm looking for our affiliates, and where are they?
They should be if you go to our blog page, which we don't
Oh,
have any posts up there,
blog.
or if you go to our
I went to news. It's
uh,
not there.
it shouldn't be on news, but if you go to where we have all of our recordings stored, you
Oh,
should be right there on the right hand side.
episodes.
I will be, now that we've officially launched our affiliates
Yep.
on the podcast, I will, or at least one of them. We have a couple others that we're going to be introducing soon.
Yeah.
But now that I have them, I'm actually going to launch. I have it built. I just haven't launched it yet. Our affiliate
Okay.
page, which will
Okay,
have
cool.
our links and information about the affiliates up there as well.
Can I just say this? And this is mostly self-serving. I am just amazed at what you have done on the website. It's very cool. It's easy to get to the episodes. There's not a bunch of crap on there that you're, going to engage in somewhere else anyway. We're not trying to make it Facebook, but it's cool. It looks really good and it's easy to navigate, and good job.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. I wouldn't be good at my job if I didn't know how to do that. My job as a digital marketer. I will say my shortcomings right now for all of us, and we talk about it a lot, is just content creation. I have not done a very good job at creating content to put up on the website or our social media, and it is something, John, ready for this? It is a Reza. Oof,
Lucian!
I don't want to say it. It's
it.
my goal to be
It's your
better at it
goal.
this year.
Yeah.
It's my goal.
And you say that, but let's just make sure everyone recognizes you just the silliness of all our episodes. how you describe them. British comedy, potty planes, and New Year's resolutions.
I told
I
you I stole
love
that
that.
from somebody.
Well, I don't care if you stole it or not. We don't have to say that.
I've already said it. I've said it like 3 or 4
Well,
times in the
now, yeah,
last year.
it's probably
John, I
a
feel
little
like
late with
with
that
all these
too.
compliments that you're giving me, you're setting me up for something. Are you it's so
Oh,
when
wow,
people set me up and tell
it's
me
like
I'm
you
good at a
know
whole bunch
me.
of things, some that the yeah, the yeah,
Whatever.
I feel like I'm being set up. You're
I'm
gonna
I'm
quit,
gonna
aren't
give
you?
you another one.
You're quitting.
Hunting, funeral fun, and Little Debbie's. Here, wait. Buying cars, cancer jokes, and camping failure. This is your capacity. You are like all over this.
That's the limit to my capacity is what you're trying to say.
No, I would never. Yeah, maybe.
Well, I thank you very much. It's hard for me to sit here and listen to that, so I'm going to change the subject. We are
Of
going.
course.
Yeah, when this actually airs, so we're recording ahead of time as we always do. But when this airs, you and I will
Yes.
actually be in Austin, Texas for a conference. And I
I thought you just said we're ostentatious. Did you just say
that
that?
too, we will be ostentation in Austin, Texas.
Okay, good.
Yeah, anyway. I will say right away, I have never been, and forgive me those of my friends, because I have a lot of them who live in Texas. I am not a Texas fan. I am not an Austin, Texas fan. People will hate
Oh,
me for saying that, but I have never been a fan. It probably stems back to my childhood when Texas stole my hockey team, but that's neither here nor there. We are going though to Austin, and Austin does have a phenomenal food scene. And one of the restaurants that I love and is still there, I looked it up just because I knew I was going and I wanted to make sure it was still open because I haven't been there for about 10 years. It's called Habana, Habana, Habana Restaurant
hmm.
and Bar. And it is a as traditional as you can get in Texas, traditional Cuban restaurant. And this is the
Oh,
place I
awesome.
was when I was introduced to true Cuban coffee. I used to work with a gentleman who came. He didn't come from Cuba, but his parents came from Cuba. And every time we traveled, he did our Spanish language channel on the website that I was working for, or the .com that I was working for. He would take us to every city, and he knew because he had been traveling his whole life to all these different places. He would take us to all of these fantastic Cuban restaurants wherever we were, including some in Miami, which whew, talk about really good Cuban food. But
Oh, there are awesome Cuban restaurants in
yeah,
Miami.
well, and that's where his dad actually used to work for, maybe still does, um, Radio America out of Miami. So yeah, but anyway, this place, Habana, I'm looking forward to going. I'm hoping it's still as good as it was the first time I went. But if anyone is in the area or is familiar with it, please try it. And that is my shout out. Once I go, I'm gonna post some pictures from the visit if I can talk some of my coworkers into going. Hint, hint, nudge,
I
nudge,
will
John.
go.
Okay, good, good.
Yeah,
You
I'm
up for
there.
some good Cuban coffee?
Do you know how far away it is from our hotel?
No, but I'm sure it's a good.
Okay.
I can give you the address, but we can look it up later. It's
Okay.
2728 South Congress Avenue, Austin, Texas.
Wow. That's
Yep,
you've done your homework, sir.
I have. Well, I'm looking at the website right now.
Well, that might have something to do with it. Okay, have you ever been to Hard Eights right by DFW?
No,
It's a barbecue place, and
you mentioned that the last time you were
oh
in Texas.
my goodness, it
When are
is
you
so
flying out?
amazing. Flying out on Monday morning.
Are you flying through Dallas?
I'm not because I don't
Oh,
fly those airlines.
I can't remember if I'm flying through Houston or Dallas. I was going to say we
Oh,
should hit it up, but we're not going to be on the same flight, so it doesn't
I
matter, does it?
so would if
We
I
shouldn't
if
really be
I flew
talking about this on the
somewhere else.
podcast, planning our
Why
next week on our
not?
flights. I don't know. So,
People
well,
I
let's
think are
let us
interested
talk.
in what it's like to do that.
Well, it could be. So,
Maybe
one
not.
thing we've talked in the past about how there it is, my favorite line again, about how much we travel for work,
Yep.
and we're still, even though we travel a lot for work, we are interested in traveling and camping and things like that. So, I just purchased and I did a lot of research trying to find the right bag. And I will be the first to say this was not the right bag, but I still love it. I just bought a bag, and there are actually two bags in one. A backpack that it has a day pack that attaches to it, so it zips up, so it becomes one big bag. But then I can unzip the front and then use that front small backpack as either a day pack for hiking, or I can put my computer in it and carry it around for work because it's nice enough to do that. So, but the big backpack I can either carry with one strap and it fits on the airplane, or I can actually use it as a hiking and camping backpack because it has the big straps that go over shoulders and then the big hip straps.
Wow.
So yeah, and this bag is made specifically for people that are I want to say nomadic, but they're not necessarily nomadic. But people that do long travel but need to have a lot of space in their bag, but this bag doesn't take up a lot of space. And
Huh.
it's an Osprey. You can actually get it on ebags.com. And this is not an ad, by the way, but that is my new purchase. And the reason I'm disappointed in it is because a lot of the other bags that I saw, they were big and bulky, but they had all of the pockets and things that I really desired. So I could carry two laptops because I carry two laptops, my iPad, I could carry peripherals, and they all had pockets, right? And then you had the big bag that you can put all your clothes in. Well, they were huge. Like I was seeing pictures and they were almost a person in and of themselves.
Oh, wow.
This one is a lot smaller and it doesn't actually look like two backpacks. And that's why I purchased it. But I gave up a lot of those pockets for my laptop so I have one big pocket for the laptop and a pocket for peripherals, and I can carry two laptops in it, but that's about it. There's no place to put my pens or store other things that I would want to carry around in that little bag. So that's my
Hmm.
newest purchase. I would recommend those who are interested in stuff like that to look at it. And I'll share it with you when I go because that's what I'll be carrying to Austin next week or this
So are
week
you
now that we're
going
here.
to so you'll use it for just general travel? Is that the plan?
Yes. Uh-huh. Yep. I used it
Very
this
cool.
week when I was traveling,
Yep.
and it worked out well. But I still have a few things to work out just weight wise because I don't think I had it balanced right. I'm probably going to. Have you ever used compression cubes for your suitcases?
Gosh, no, what is that? What's a
So
compression
compression
cube?
cubes, you can buy them and they usually come in packs of 4 or 6,
Okay.
and you can pack certain items in the cube, and then when you zip it up, you can pump the air out so it compresses everything. So you'll have
Oh,
a
okay.
clothes bag where you can put big clothes like jeans and stuff like that, and it'll compress it all down. And then you can get a shoe bag, you can compress it, and then your toiletries and stuff like that. And it makes everything a lot smaller, so you can pack a lot more in a smaller space.
Huh.
So there's a good set of compression cubes. You can actually get them on Amazon, but if you watch Tim and Finn on YouTube, I have one of their backpacks, but they also have compression cubes, and they're fairly inexpensive. But they're probably the ones that I'm going to pick up.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's my tip, and I'll put some pictures up, I guess, on our Instagram and Facebook of the bag once I get it fully packed, and we'll see what it looks like on me.
Yeah,
But
we're gonna need to see
that's
that.
my travel tip. We haven't done travel tips in a while. I'm looking for the best ways to try to accommodate my lifestyle with my business travel and make it seamless so I don't have to have like 50 different bags. It's one of my biggest annoyances is when we go on a trip and for example, my wife is doing a fantastic job trying to reduce the number of bags, but we went on a weekend trip. We were gone one night, and I swear between three of us, we had 7 bags. It drives me absolutely nuts when I can fit my entire life technically into one bag, but we still have to have 7 bags. So I'm trying to condense. So I only carrying 1 or 2 things at the most.
So you're blaming it on your girls, obviously.
No, yes, I am, but no, I'm not at all. Jen and I have had this
Wait, you
discussion a
can
lot.
travel with one bag and you suddenly have 7. You're blaming the
Yes,
ladies.
absolutely.
Okay, good. I just
Yep,
wanted to be clear
yep.
about that. Awesome.
I'm set in my ways. What can I say? Now, Jen and I talk about this a lot, and she is working really hard to try to not do that, because she recognizes that it takes up a lot of space, and we can get away with a fewer things. But she has a lot of things that she needs to take with that I don't. I don't have hair. She does. There's a lot that goes with that. Same with my daughter.
Yeah, I'm sure she packs at least one suitcase full of hairbrushes.
Not just her hairbrush.
I don't have hair. Well, that's one suitcase for sure.
Right. But she does. I mean, she has hair products. She's got her toiletries that, what do I carry? I carry my toothbrush, my razor, and deodorant. That's pretty much all I've got.
Do you use toothpaste or not really?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. But it's usually the small container. Doesn't take up much room.
It's because toothpaste really does. Honestly, I have a suitcase full of toothpaste that I travel with. I should maybe go with a small container.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Wow. Anyway, that was my rant.
Okay,
I'm done ranting.
A good rant.
I'll probably get in trouble for that rant.
Good, and we're fine with that. And you frankly deserve to.
Yeah, I should. Any travel tips for you? Because you fly more than I do. We've talked about that in the past.
Yep. Yeah, I always have tips. Don't fart on the plane. That's the first one.
Well, we already know that's potty dusting.
Gosh.
Have you been potty dusted lately?
No, but I flew from Seattle, and let me just say this, and I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to single out a certain age group or a certain
demographic
demo. Yes. What I will say is I'm not sure that leaving at 6 a.m. on a flight from Seattle to anywhere is a good idea, because nobody on that flight showered.
Oh no.
Except me.
Well, they are coming from Seattle.
Come on. It's the grunge thing. It's like the whole grunge thing. It's, oh my gosh.
No, what it is, because Seattle has a lot of homeless people, but they could be like some of the homeless people in Nashville when they're really not homeless, and they're just flying home. They fly out to Seattle to make their $50,000 in a weekend, and then they fly home.
Wow, yes, just like gentlemen's club dancers.
Yeah, Chippendales. They're called Chippendales. Get it right.
Well, no, gentlemen dancers are Chippendales, but gentlemen's club dancers.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Because there are females that do that. They will fly into Vegas, for example, for the weekend, make a boatload of money, and then fly wherever home is.
Huh.
Idaho. Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, maybe.
Interesting. Tell me more.
I don't know more. I've just
heard
the stories. Don't start with me. You're not going to get me in trouble.
Why? You got me in trouble.
You got you in trouble.
That's true. That's very true.
I'm an innocent bystander.
Oh. Anyway.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people want to pose as a homeless person in Seattle.
Yeah. It's either Seattle or Nashville. It's probably a lot nicer in Nashville right now.
It could be San Francisco.
Yeah. What's your temperature today, by the way?
Myself, I'm about 98.5.
Oh, well, you're running a little cool there.
Yeah. I always do.
It was 72 degrees when I got home.
You're kidding.
I am not kidding you. And this weekend, it's supposed to be, or the rest of the weekend, it's supposed to be in the 30s and 40s.
So it's 34 right here in beautiful Lake Mills, Wisconsin, as we speak. And I just drove from Chicago this morning and late morning, and it was hovering around 32, freezing rain the entire way from Chicago.
Oh, wow.
So about a 2-hour drive or so, and I probably saw 5 vehicles in the ditch.
Oh, did you drive your own car or did you have a rental?
I did. I drove my truck.
Okay.
Well, so happy to have, I threw the 4-wheel drive on the last probably hour of the trip. Yeah, that worked out well.
All right. Well, any other travel tips that we can end on?
Yeah. Wow. Travel tips. Yeah. There are, if you can avoid putting a bag in the overhead bin, avoid it. I don't. I usually put one in the overhead bin, but I know how to put them in. So if you're in a plane that has 2 seats on one side and 3 on the other side, the roller bags, or roller boards as they call them, go on the 3-seat side. Don't try to put them on the 2-seat side because they won't fit lengthwise. There you have it.
That's a very good tip.
Thank you.
Yeah. And ask for help if you need help getting it up there. Don't just keep trying until someone magically helps.
Well, and if you fly enough, I always offer to help.
Absolutely. Me too.
Yep. Well, I mean, why not? It's not like it's that big a deal or you're expecting anything in return.
Right. Well, I am expecting something in return. Is if everyone helps each other. It's kind of like merging into traffic. If you actually let people merge, like every other car, and that the cars that are merging wait every other car, you move a lot faster. If you help someone on the plane and they help someone else and they help someone else, we get boarded and sit down and get going a lot faster, and we get off the plane a lot faster.
Yeah, yep. You are right, and it is true. But I think also a lot of that has to do with preparedness. People who don't fly a lot will often struggle with being prepared what to do when they get to their seat.
Yes. Yep.
So yeah, that's part of it. So be ready, be prepared to go, people.
Yep.
And,
exactly.
You'll find it easier.
Yeah.
Very good.
We've got I have a tangent or a rant to go on our next episode about TSA.
Ooh, I can't wait for that.
Yeah. So, but if you guys want to hear that rant, you're going to have to tune in next week.
You're going to have to wait for it.
You're going to have to wait. Yep. Absolutely. In the meantime, visit our website, PoddiMouths.com, so you can admire everything that Jon was talking about and, embarrass me even more. But from our website, you'll be able to find those affiliate links as well as links to our social media. Be able to visit our Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter, leave comments. Let us know how badly we sucked this week, or if you agree or disagree with what Jon was saying, or let me rephrase that. If you disagree with what Jon's saying and agree with what I was saying, go ahead and put that up there. And
nice.
Bill, I'm talking to you.
But if you agree with Jon and disagree with Nick, keep your crap to yourself.
Exactly.
That's what you meant to say.
All right, everybody. Have a fantastic week.
See ya.